you ask about where is UCLA nationally. So for 2008, looking at national data, the first thing you see up there in red is that the University of California system is one of the top in the nation and also in the world. You might ask, what happened to Northwestern? So what you're seeing there is what can happen when you have a drug hit. So there are a few schools in the country who have already had a drug hit, and if you take all of the money and all of the patent rights years for which you would be getting royalties, you can sell those rights, and they got $824 million. Pretty impressive. You'll also notice that they started about 4 companies. Now, UCLA is number 12 for that year. We had about $32 million, and we started 21 companies. So we have a decided preference in California to help people to start companies. We think that's an appropriate mission for economic development, and we are increasing both our activity and our success rates in doing so. Some of the successful UCLA products, and we have over 25 products on the market now, are the nicotine patch, which is now off patent, but it's still serving the public. We have 3 coils that are on the market for strokes. We have the GDC coil, which was the original, and the clot retriever coil. Then you'll see what we're describing here is a combination of the variety of technologies that come out of UCLA. Just to give you a little number here, in a recently issued report, they were talking about California and where does venture capital money go. And California gets the most venture capital money in the country. So the top 5 industries in California by VC funding were the biotech and medical device industry with, for 2009, $2.6 billion of VC funding. Software, $1.7 billion. Industrial and energy with $1.2 billion. The media and entertainment, $700 million, and semiconductor industry with $6.2 million. So you see that there's a huge variety of technology that comes out of California. And what you see here is that UCLA also has a wide variety. And we have everything from the clinical information system that you've just seen shown for you. We have the LG chocolate phone antenna technology, which has UCLA technology in it, the Gleevec resistance test, and all the way up to medical devices. So if you're interested in technology, we tell people to just come here. Neil was also talking about the amount of time it took and the personal investment it took to bring something home. When you think about why is technology transfer challenging, this table gives you an idea. Looking at the top 5 inventions that are on the market, so they have at least brought in some money, you see that of the top 5 here for UCLA, from the years to the first revenues coming in was an average of 2 years. That's pretty good. That's really good. If you look for the years to the top $500,000 brought in, it was 5 years on average. Now for the next 5, looking at the average for the next, I guess it's 6 technology there, you'll see that it took 5 years before you got even the first revenues, and it took 12 years before they got $500,000. So what you're looking at here is really a long investment before you really have a lot of money coming in. And that's what was described for you here. It started in 2000?
2001, we had some coffee and idea.
So from 2001 to the time it was acquired in 2008, that was the amount of time for that invention. And so should UCLA and should the UC system be engaged in technology transfer? Well, if you look at the public land grants responsibility, when I went to school in the University of Wisconsin, the type of technology transfer was through an extension program. where people would go out and help the farmers with pest control or something like that. We're an urban campus. We're not going to do a lot of agriculture work, but what we do is we help economic development in another way. These were a couple of recent quotes that I just picked out. So the top one was from the LA Times in January, and this is the president for Medivation, and he's talking about the Golden State's knack for attracting the biotech talent. And what the article was about is how Japanese pharmas are coming to the U.S. looking for drug targets and drugs that they can license to actually bring forward. Because, as many of you know, there are a lot of the most productive drugs on the market are going off patent by 2012. So there's really an attraction for people to come to the U.S. and especially to California looking for technology. The bottom one in comparison is about the UK. So this article was talking about how the university spin-off activity has collapsed in the UK over the last few years. Between 2005 and 2008, an average of 210 companies were formed each year. And it had dropped to fewer than 50 in 2009. So that's a problem. Fortunately, California is not in that situation. UCLA, as I said, we formed about 22 companies last year, and it's going strong. This map for California shows where UCLA's licenses are. So what you see is we've got the Bay Area and we've got Southern California. What you see is that we've got the Bay Area and Southern California. Now, we would like to have a little more of those licensees stay local. So we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But what this represents actually is only 50% of our licensees. So UCLA is actually a national resource. We're actually an international resource. So for 2008, the gross sales of products with UCLA technology brought in $209 million in gross sales, and in California, $57 million in gross sales. Over the last 5 years, actually that was before last year. So we now have over 65 companies that have been formed from the technology transfer. And we have equity in 34 companies now. So what we're seeing is that about half of the licensees stay in California, and that the rest are being drawn off to other states or around the world. And we're trying to do things that will keep our technology in California. One of the ways is to educate students about commercialization. This is one example where we're working with the local angel investors who will do a mentoring program for students. And sorry about the acronyms, EGSA is the Engineering Grad Student Association, the Society for Postdoctoral Scholars, and the Entrepreneur Association had collaborated to come and ask us if we could help them develop a program. So we did, and this has been one successful way for students to learn hands-on about what's the process for thinking through commercialization and what would they do in order to move a technology. And they're allowed to use university technology to go through this process. We have other education programs. But another thing that we're really working on in order to keep the technology in California, and specifically in Southern California, is we have an incubator concept that just opened about a year ago. And we've located it in the CNSI. It's a startup institute, and it's lab space for fledgling companies. It's a teaching institute, so the students can come in and participate in learning with the small companies. We're trying to connect our small companies with the Anderson School's M.B.A. program for doing market assessment, for doing business plan development, venture development, so that there is more of a teaching and a incubation program in existence at UCLA. We're about to start another one, and ultimately we hope in the future that we can do some pods of incubators out in the community. At that point, we're hoping to engage even more with our community partners and try and do a springboard to help them launch from the on-site to the off-site incubator. Now, this is for you.